The Chiefs will host the Houston Texans in the divisional round of the 2024-2025 NFL playoffs. We're here to talk about it. KCSN Breaking News team live now.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
KCSN Breaking News team, Tucker Franklin with Maddie Lane right now. Plenty of people will be joining in progress here as we are reacting to the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Houston Texans to a rematch in Arrowhead for the AFC Divisional Round game. Maddie, look, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about this game this week, right? So we're not going to, I want to leave some meat on the bone here.
Sure.
But first reactions to the Chiefs and the Texans rematch in Arrowhead.
Yeah, this was like the matchup that I thought was like the second best for the Chiefs. If we wanted to get like real down to it, it was the Steelers and the Texans, I think, were the teams that you wanted to play the most if you were the Chiefs going into the playoffs. Now, I understand the Texans, if you focus on just what their defense did or some of the second half offense, you could see some things that would maybe make them a little feisty coming into the divisional round. But I mean, come on, we saw this team play down the stretch in the NFL season. Like, this is a good matchup for the Chiefs to have in a home game. They're going to be well rested. They just game planned and saw this team in not a must win, but a game that was big for both teams. So it's not like there's going to be, anything crazy new or unexpected from either side. I just think this is kind of a good deal for, I think, the Kansas City Chiefs here, the way this thing broke, and they get just a rematch of a team that they should be ready for.
I like this matchup. This was one of the two, as you mentioned, Maddie. This was one of the two that we kind of were like, okay, Texans, Steelers, those two teams that they played down the stretch there, the 3 games in 11 days, where they looked really good against both of those teams. I'll take this matchup. The Broncos were actually a team that kind of are a little scrappy, man. I was like, I don't know if I really want to see the Broncos. But before we dive too far into this, couple of housekeeping things to keep you guys up to date with. If you've been watching, we've been doing a raffle for 4 playoff tickets to this divisional round game, which will be against the Houston Texans. I'm sure as we're live here, we're going to find out what time that game is. I think a lot of people anticipate to be on Saturday, January 18th. If we are doing that raffle now, we are about $500 away from our $5,000 goal for the Feed It Forward campaign, benefiting and helping out the homeless shelter, Hope Faith Kansas City, down in downtown Kansas City. All the money, all the proceeds will go to the homeless shelter there as our Feed It Forward campaign there as well. We also will be drawing that later. You can still get tickets in givebutter.com/Feed It Forward is where you need to go to buy those tickets. We'll be monitoring it too here. I've got the big old wheel of names that I'll throw up on the screen once we get towards the end of this here. We're going to draw at the end of the show. Still time to get tickets in. Still time for watching this live. Still time to get your tickets in. givebutter.com/Feed It Forward. Go check that out. If you cannot go to the divisional game, we've got just a spot for you. I'm going to be there. BJ Kissel will be there. Some other people will be there as well at the Holiday Distillery for our divisional round party. We've done this a couple of years. It feels like, Chiefs are always in the playoffs, so we're always hosting events up there at Holiday Distillery. Link is in the description. The Google form to RSVP is there. Go check that out. We will have more details, obviously, as we know the time and timing of everything as it does come out, because as we're live now, we still don't know technically what day the Chiefs and the Texans will play, but RSVP so you can get your spot in. Limited spots are available, so go RSVP. Link in the description and Google form. Fill it out. Let us know how many people that you are going to be coming with there. They're going to be. I have a message here from the boss man BJ Kissel. Special prizes / giveaways during the game as well at our KCSN watch party at Holiday Distillery. Go hang out with us there. All right, Maddie, as we mentioned, Texans coming to Arrowhead. Their game against the Chargers might have been one of the most infuriating games football games to watch. It only made it better for me because I watched it on the Nick broadcast. I think that's what made it palatable for me as well. But thoughts on how the Texans looked against the Chargers? Appreciate everyone hanging out with us live at the time. Let us know where you're watching from. But Maddie, thoughts on the Texans, their performance against the Chargers?
Yeah, and I thought that game was pretty gross. In the second half, the Chargers got so bad that it almost became kind of like funny to watch, and not just because I want to see the Chargers lose or anything. I actually don't really think about the Chargers at all. I It just became funny. They were playing so bad. Everything was going wrong that could possibly go wrong. Anytime there was even a smidgen of life, whether it was a bad CJ Stroud play, here comes Justin Herbert to one up him. Oh, here's kind of a blown, I don't want to say coverage, but blown play by the defense, and Lad McConkey scores a long touchdown. Maybe we'll get right back into it. Not so fast. So it became funny, but that game I didn't leave that game overly impressed with anything the Texans did. The defense played well, but I know they have a good defense. They've had a good defense all year. They took advantage of an LA offensive line that had struggled all year, and the fact that they have exactly one wide receiver, especially with Joshua Palmer hurt, that like you can even remotely consider a weapon. So I don't think there's a whole lot to take away from it other than that defense is good. They still are good, and they found a way to kind of recenter themselves for this playoff run because they hadn't had the best performances down the stretch of the season, but they seem like they got back on track.
100%. And didn't they end with like 31 points? And it feels like that 31 points was like a bit inflated, obviously, towards the end of the game. When you get 4 extra possessions, like that's going to help. Justin Herbert couldn't stop throwing picks. It was kind of crazy because it seemed like the inverse was happening early on in the game where the Texans offense couldn't get out of the defense's way. And then Justin Herbert just kept handing balls to the Texans defense on a silver platter. And that kind of really, they got a touchdown from the defense, the Texans did. And they had a short field where they only got 3 points out of the deal. So that's 10 points that the defense is basically gave you out of the 31 that they did have.
Yeah, I mean, so it was like they were losing until like late in the second quarter. Then they ended up going into the halftime with a 10-6 lead because of a nice touchdown drive. And then they got the ball right back and got a field goal. So you're like, okay, coming out of it, you thought that maybe they were going to have some more momentum, but then they immediately fumble the next possession. Then they get a field goal and they go like, I think 3 and out and punt. It wasn't a good looking game, but then the Chargers offense just like said, hey, we have nothing for you guys. So you ended up scoring 32 points, but I'm looking at it. There was a field goal that only there was the interception touchdown. Then there was a field goal where they only gained 1 yard. Then they got the touchdown. Then they drove back on another touchdown. It's just, they scored so many points off of the Chargers clearly just not having it in that game. I don't want to say anybody gave up, but it just became clear that the Chargers weren't going to be able to compete. So yeah, I don't want to look past the Texans and say they have no chance to win. Their defense is very good. It's just nothing changed from going into the playoffs where everybody's sitting there saying, we want to see the Steelers, we want to see the Texans. Nothing's changed my thoughts on that based on this game.
Stan Austin, thank you for your 3 tickets purchased for the KCSN raffle here as we're going to be raffling off these divisional round tickets as I try to copy and paste his name into our big old wheel of names that I'll throw up there. It's always fun when we do these giveaways and I get to throw up that big, huge wheel. Maddie, I really do enjoy that.
It's a good wheel. It's good. I like the wheel.
I do like a little bit of mystery too. That's like a part of it is like, is my computer going to blow up when I spin it? Like, that's always just like, I wonder what's going to happen. Ryan Stockyard, thank you for your 10 ticket donation. Thank you so much.
Yo, Ryan.
So by my calculations, that's like 125 right there. We were 500 when we started the show. You can do the math. I'm not going to because I don't want to embarrass myself live on a podcast. But I do have good news though, Maddie, because we are joined by another esteemed colleague of ours here as Seth Kaiser is now joining us on the KCSN Breaking News team live stream. Seth, first reactions to the Texans being the opponent for the Kansas City Chiefs.
You know what? I just can't believe that I get to be sitting here with Maddie Lane and Tucker Franklin going live. I'm just blessed just to be here. Wow. I'm just so happy to be here. I'm just going to mail. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was the Broncos for a second. Sorry. So in terms of the Texans, it's not what I expected. I figured the Chargers would come out ahead. I thought they were the slightly better coached team. I'm having to really seriously reconsider some of my priors on Justin Herbert because I have long talked about I've thought he's an excellent quarterback for years. And at a certain point, and this isn't entirely fair, but it might be kind of fair, at a certain point when you have the same results over and over and over again, at a certain point it's on you. At a certain point, like the Chargers, yeah, they don't have a perfect roster, but neither do the Chiefs, man. And it's like, I mean, oh, their wide receiver room's flawed. Yep. Oh, their offensive line's flawed. Yep. Oh, their defense is actually really good. Okay. And so I thought they would be able to make a better showing than what they did. I didn't expect them to melt down. I didn't expect them to just come apart at the seams. And I saw some people talk about a little bit that one issue with Herbert that maybe has gotten a little bit exposed that I haven't even considered before is that he's not as much of a creator as you would think, given his athleticism and his arm. And his arm is unbelievable. He throws the prettiest ball. And I can't help but wonder if for us film guys, maybe that makes us just view him a little bit better than we should sometimes in terms of the results. But that's all, of course, about the Chargers. I was surprised with the Texans seeing what happened and how they were able to really get after the Chargers offense made me really appreciate the approach the Chiefs had against the Texans in the regular season game, where that pass rush of theirs really wasn't that much of an issue. And it looked, unstoppable against a team with a couple of amazing tackles. And yet they just could not protect Herbert. And really Mahomes, by and large, throughout that game, he had a few times he got hit pressured, but their play calling, their game plan negated those edge rushers in a way that, it's kind of an Andy Reid special, right? We watched him do it to the 49ers for years. And then getting to see just a brand new set of faces just helpless as the ball comes out in under 2.5 seconds, or they've got a rolling pocket to the right, or, oh no, a jet sweep just went right across your face as you were going upfield. Things like that. It made me really appreciate the game plan the Chiefs had against the Texans, because that is a really good defense that has a really good combination of pass rushers and corners. And the Chiefs, by and large, they kind of took their foot off the gas eventually, but they, by and large, performed really well against them. And that was with Hollywood Brown getting, a quarter of the snaps? So I feel good about it. I think they match up better against the Texans than they do against the Chargers for a variety of reasons. One of them being C.J. Stroud, who I love, I think is a terrific talent. But he still seems to, at this point in his career, the times I've watched him this year at least, he struggles somewhat with simulated pressures, zone blitzes, things coming at him from directions he doesn't expect. I think he's a really, really rough matchup for Spags. I think Minter got in his head at times too. It's just the Chargers kept giving them the ball. Yeah. Like, eventually, good things are going to happen. And so I like the matchup a little bit better. I think Stroud is more vulnerable to the things that the Chiefs defense does well, especially Spags. I remember what McDonald did to him last year in the playoffs, and I've seen more of that this year too. So that was a long road to a short thought. It's the easier road. And so I think it is, at least, but it'll be fun to see them, take on an opponent that they haven't in so many years in the playoffs.
I like all that, Seth. Way to come in there and just empty the clip. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Am I done now? Do I get to go?
Well, one guy who is, we're going to throw another guy into the mix here, as Kent Swanson is now joining us on the Breaking News team.
Hollywood?
Look, I told you that we weren't done. I told you guys at the beginning when it was just me and Maddie, I was like, we're going to get some people cycling through here. Kent Swanson now joining us. Kent, how are you feeling?
Well, I was doing fine. I was energized, and then I had to wait for Seth's 5-minute monologue. And so now I've mellowed out a little bit.
He's just auditioning.
I will apologize in advance if you hear a 3-year-old freaking out. I've got him in front of a little bit of Bluey right now, so we're hoping things go well there today. But I could not miss an opportunity to come hang out with you guys and celebrate the fact that the Chiefs are playing the Houston Texans, presumably on Saturday. Like, this feels like a very Saturday matchup that we're about to experience. I don't know if you guys have even talked about that at all yet, but it does feel like we're about to see Chiefs Texans on Saturday again. I don't know.
I don't think that Maddie and I were kind of talking about this. We thought that it would come out while we're live. I don't think it's going to come out until Sunday Night Football. Is usually when they do that, when they do the schedule for the next week. So we won't actually know. Right. Just give us a Saturday game already. We know you're going to do it.
Come on. Let's be real. Are they going to put the Ravens versus the Bills and a Saturday on a Saturday 4:30?
Saturday noon slate, baby. Oh no, 4:30. Yeah.
Hey, and if
Fair.
you're looking at lines right now, if you're just looking at like which the Chiefs have opened, I believe is 7.5 favorites, 7.5 point favorites.
Oh,
That's
wow.
not much far removed from what the Texans or what the Bills were just favored as against the Broncos. So if you're looking at matchups that you want to bury on a Saturday afternoon, like it feels like the Chiefs Chiefs Texans is a very logical one. So I don't know. I think the last time that the Chiefs were down 24 nothing and beat the absolute brakes off the Houston Texans in a 51-7 run to close out the game.
Right.
I think that was a
okay.
Saturday afternoon game, if I remember correctly.
I think so. The Chiefs have played the Texans. I think it's actually the Texans' fault because the Texans seem like they always play the Saturday games. There must be something about the NFL
AFC
and
South.
Yeah, they always play those Saturday. They're like, you guys.
Well, and they could try being better. Like that might, Now, and we'll see what happens. I'm so excited about all of this because this is where I start hedging in advance. Like, oh man, I'm just gonna have to eat so many words. But I mean, they're sneaking in from the AFC South. I don't know what to tell you. It's but I mean, at least they made it there, and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
I saw that some people are questioning the committee's choices of putting in the Broncos over the Cincinnati Bengals. If the committee made the right choice, good thing that there's not a committee.
I think they took into consideration awful, embarrassing, terrible losses, and one of the worst losses in the league is losing to the New England Patriots. So that's
the Bills
probably
did
why.
that.
The Bills did do that. Well, they were sitting starters, which is basically a travesty to the league and an embarrassment.
Right.
I can't believe the Bills would do such a thing. Just on a complete quick note, and it's off topic from Texans Chiefs, just to bring a little only weird games energy.
That's all right.
Someone, and I can't remember who this was. This might have been our friends on Amateur Hour. I don't remember. Someone put forth a theory that I think is incredible. That the Chiefs actually handed the Bengals their first 2 losses of the season because they lost to the Patriots because they just had week 2 circled and bolded and highlighted and everything. Or no, it was 3 games because they lose to the Patriots because they're looking forward to the Chiefs. Then they lose to the Chiefs because the Chiefs are better than them and have been for years. Right. And then they lose the next week because they're so... Oh, yeah. No, my check cleared personally. Thank you to everyone else for contributing. Many small checks made for a lighter burden. It's great. Right. And then they lose the 3rd week because they're so devastated from losing their Super Bowl. That's a theory that I'm running with until the end of time, that the Chiefs technically beat the Bengals 3 different times in the year of our Lord 2024.
Bengals just need to get their NIL up. I mean, get your NIL up so you can start paying up a little bit more, y'all. Sorry.
That's what you have to do. Actually, they do need to do that because their owner's really cheap. So maybe he needs to start some NIL funds.
I don't know if they sold enough of their used flat screens to pay for T. Higgins.
I forgot that they did that. Oh my god.
Yeah. During the watch party.
Yeah.
Where no one was at.
Okay.
Oh, Curtis Seabolt is out with the early line. If you guys haven't said this yet. Casey, now how does this all work? I don't understand how betting works because you guys, holy and all that. Negative 7.5. Negative 7.5 versus Houston. So that means Houston gets 7.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So
they think the Chiefs will win by more than a touchdown. Vegas does.
They think they'll win by exactly a touchdown.
It was actually, if you click on it, it tells you the Chiefs are actually a 5.5 point favorite, but the refs added an extra 2 points. That's where it really comes in.
Anytime you can throw in that safety, it's really helpful. I have decided that the best possible chorus and the funniest chorus and the most entertaining chorus would be if the offense just went complete scorched earth during the playoffs after yet another kind of uneven season and scored 35 plus every week. That would be incredible. That would be the funniest possible outcome. And so that's what I'm rooting for because I'm here for the humor at this point. When you win that many Super Bowls, you got to start finding the joy in the other things.
Can I add a layer to that, which is we're looking way too far ahead of ourselves here. But if the Chiefs and the Bills both make it to the AFC Championship game, the funniest scenario is Xavier Worthy going for 130 and 2 touchdowns on the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
Keon Coleman not
after
playing.
they helped them acquire him. Like that's the scenario. Like Keon Coleman drops a touchdown, and like that's the funniest timeline.
Trent McDuffie gets a pick six. Just every possible thing that the Chiefs have managed to get up on the Bills in the last several years just all comes to a head at one time. Yeah, I'm totally here for it.
It's very funny. What also you should be here for is our raffle. As we are getting towards the end of the stream here, we're going to be raffling it off. I've got the big old wheel of names to my other computer here. We're going to see if we have the technological advances to do this without my computer blowing up. But you still have time to get in on the raffle. 4 tickets to the divisional round game. Chiefs, Texans. Obviously don't know what day or time yet, but you can pretty much pencil on in that Saturday date. Pencil it in. Clear your calendars, folks. If you do get those tickets, go givebutter.com/feeditforward to get those tickets now. I'll add you to the wheel. We'll spin for it. We'll probably have final call here coming up in a minute. Probably got to give final call to people. But we are really close to our $5,000 goal. We started the stream about $500 away, and then we had some donations, about $125-ish worth of donations there. So we are nearing very closely to the $5,000 goal to Feed It Forward. Obviously, all of that money goes to the Hope Faith Kansas City homeless shelter there, where we help feed the homeless there in downtown Kansas City. Really cool, special place to be as well. And if you are not going to be at the divisional game, whether you don't win the raffle or you just can't make it out there, but you do want to watch with some Chiefs fans, I'm going to be out at Holiday Distillery. BJ Kissel will be at Holiday Distillery. Ken Swanson, will you be at Holiday Distillery? Don't want to put you on the spot, but
actually not sure yet.
Maybe whoever RSVPs could tip the scales for Kent to go. If you RSVP, you could get Kent to go.
There's a chance I'm at the game.
And if well, I was just gonna say, if you RSVP between now and then and Kent doesn't go, it's because he hates you. It's an actual personal.
That's still true, actually.
It's probably true.
No, but you should still RSVP to the Holiday Distillery.
Kent won't be there or might not be there, so now you definitely should RSVP.
Now you definitely should be there.
Sure.
I don't anticipate I will be there, but if any plans change whatsoever, I will be at Holiday Distillery.
I don't think Seth or Maddie are going to make the commute down. Hell of a commute for a game. But nevertheless, I think Haley Lewis will be there as well. I'm going to be there. So you can come hang out with me. We're going to have...
might be there.
Oh, yeah. Briscoe did say he was going to be there.
I think I talked to BJ.
But go anyway.
Briscoe's going to be there.
There's going to be a lot of people there.
So it'll be easy to avoid Josh.
That's
you could still go and just work your way through the crowd and just kind of...
As I mentioned, I did get a text from the boss man as we are going to have special prizes and giveaways during the game as well. So RSVP, look, just go RSVP. We appreciate you guys supporting us. We love doing these events at Holiday Distillery. So make sure you get your signups in there. Again, feeditforward.com. Oh, wait. givebutter.com/feeditforward. You can get your tickets as well. We'll get there eventually, fellas. But Chiefs, Texans. That's what we got. I want to know your guys' thoughts on the other AFC games. I thought it was weird that what they did this year, where they did all of the AFC games first, then all of the NFC games. They usually go back and forth and switch, so we usually have to wait till like Sunday night or Monday before we actually know who the Chiefs play. For our sake, pretty sick that they got done at 3:00 on a Sunday for we to know who the Chiefs are going to play. But Maddie, thoughts on the other action that happened in the AFC playoffs, AFC wildcard weekend? Not too many super close games.
No, I wouldn't say it was like a drama-filled AFC side of this first round of the playoffs. The same kind of things kind of seemed like to go how I expected. Obviously, we talked a little bit earlier before Kent and Seth jumped on about that Chargers-Texans game and why it was weird and what happened with the Chargers and everything. But besides that, everything went as expected. I think it was probably a pretty good weekend for the Chiefs from the aspect that both Denver and Pittsburgh, at least for a time in their games, fought and made it a little difficult for the Bills, for the Ravens. They made the Bills, they made the Ravens try. They had to put, a few things out there that they maybe wouldn't have had to put out there on film going forward. You saw Lamar Jackson take a few hits and seem to be feeling it as the game went on. Josh Allen took a couple hits in this Broncos game. Then we have some ridiculous ref shenanigans going on there that we don't need to get into yet. I just thought it was about as good.
Lost a fingernail on his throwing hand.
Poor Josh.
The ref checked on.
Was that while he was yelling at the refs, or was it just, and then it just like flipped off? Because I mean, I've been told that Josh Allen doesn't complain to the refs. I have that on pretty good authority.
He doesn't flop either. That's what I've heard too. Yeah.
No, I've been told he's hashtag built different.
Yeah.
But no, he lost a fingernail. You know what? That would hurt. Like that's just.
That's why Trubisky came in to close things out, is because he had his entire thumbnail ripped off.
Wait, did he have a glove on? Was it on his offhand? I don't know. I wasn't paying that much attention.
It was on his throwing hand.
This weekend, no, I thought he had a glove on his throwing hand, but that might have been on his non-throwing hand. Anywho, yeah, I thought this weekend went okay, right? Like I thought it went okay. I thought the Broncos in the first half made the Bills work for everything they got. You saw the Broncos defense get some stops. The Broncos offense couldn't really move the ball, which that was a little surprising. But then I also kind of was looking at this Broncos offense, and well, they played how you expected them to play all year long. Just Sean Payton kind of pulled them along with Bo Nix for the majority of the year. So I don't have too many takeaways other than the fact that it was, from the Chiefs' perspective, at least good to see Lamar have to take some hits. Good to see Josh Allen have to take some hits, and those two teams be at least pressed a little bit before they have to go play each other next week.
Well, I think it's it wasn't a complete pushover game. I do think, the Bills got to run the ball a lot in this game. So it wasn't like you got too far into the bag in the drop back game, I don't think, for the Bills. So I think there's a lot of meat on the bone left there for them. So they were able to not have to show a ton of that because every possession started at 2nd and 5, essentially. So I think there's that. But yeah, I mean, they both had to play 60 minutes of football, and they both got to beat the brakes, just beat the crap out of each other next week in order to come into Arrowhead the next week. The Chiefs presumably would have some level of rest edge, be it 3 hours or 24 hours, depending on how the schedule makers want to set this up. So I think good scenario. I mean, I think you either want. I would either rather have all. I think I would have rather had both just completely eliminated, or both wind up in the divisional round, right? Like I don't think it would have been. I think it's beneficial that the Ravens have to play the Bills instead of the Texans or something like that, right? Like I actually think if both teams are going to be in it at the divisional round, I'd rather both of them be there. So I think it turned out well for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I lined right up there with the rest of this esteemed panel. I'm personally nervous. I just want to let you guys know. Yeah, I know. Well, it's just I'm used to, the lab is like analysis and only weird games. I'm not sure what we do anymore. I don't know what it is. Every now and then I'll say something about beyond the box score, and then Nate makes a dolphin noise and it all falls apart.
I just love your welcome lasts 30 minutes and ours is 3.
Yeah, well, who's is that, Kent?
That is true.
There's just always something to talk about. I agree.
And look, it makes me wait till after the show.
Here's what happens is that one of either Seth, Nate, or Josh will just say something that sparks the other two. There's wait, we got to go down that rabbit hole. And it's never always happens. Never a fail. Always when in the welcome, someone will say something that is unexpected, usually Nate. And it's just now we're going to talk about this for 25 minutes.
Well, no, because it really is. It's man, I really want to talk Chiefs, but I have some thoughts about, fried bread that Nate just said. Right. And I actually have some notes here in front of me. So anyway, now that I've got my nerves out, now that I've digressed us.
We could sidebar about fried bread too, actually, unfortunately, but we're not going to do it.
But you could. It's delicious. Are you pro? Yeah.
It's all about some fried bread. It doesn't matter what state you're in. Missouri, Louisiana, Alabama. It doesn't matter. Just get that man some fried bread.
Well, who's out here hating fried bread? No one. That is a very.
Maddie hates gluten.
Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, I'm Matt. I'm in good shape.
Body
Whatever,
is a
dude.
temple.
Yeah. Look,
Don't
you know
get
what?
A sandwich, just get me.
Yeah, I'm so ripped that everyone thinks I'm 5'7". Whatever, dude. We've all had enough of it. I'm almost 40. I'm gonna eat whatever I want. And I'm going to look like it. So it's really unfortunate for me and my wife, honestly. But, whatever. She's got to look at me. I don't. So anyway, about the AFC games, what I really... What I agree with what both Kent and Maddie had to say, that it turned out pretty good for the Chiefs. The Ravens and Bills opponents made them earn it a little in certain segments of the game. The thing that stood out to me the most with all those AFC games is how important it is, especially Chargers Texans, how important it is once you're in the playoffs to not kick yourself in the face, to not when your opponent kicks themselves in the face, to take advantage. There's so much to be said. People talk about the Patriot way, this, that, and the other thing. Most of the Patriot way is you had one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever live, one of the greatest defensive minds to ever live at the same time. That's the Patriot way.
And a coach that hates fun.
Yeah, and a coach that hates fun. But one of the real things you can take from the Chiefs' success over the last 5 years and the Patriots' success before that is if you're a team that commits fewer mistakes in the postseason, where everything's tighter, everything's faster, everything's more individually game planned, etc. If you make a couple fewer mistakes and you capitalize a couple more times on your opponent's mistakes, you are probably going to win. And you could see that like Texans Chargers, that shouldn't have gotten out of hand the way it did. But one team just could not stop. Like it was like the Chargers are like, that classic Sideshow Bob thing where he just steps on rake after rake after rake. And so that's gonna come into play. I'm excited to see how different the Chiefs' game plan looks. I know we'll all talk about this a ton this week against the Texans, as opposed to last time they played them. The last time they played them, they were their second game into the Joe Thuney experiment. Mm-hmm. They had a pretty different game plan than how they went against the Browns, because they saw what worked and what didn't work with Thuney and Caliendo. And they got the ball out fast. They did a bunch of things. They had Hollywood Brown out there for 25% of snaps. A lot of short stuff, a lot of quick game, a lot of sideline to sideline. I'm curious. They've had like 2/3 of a month to game plan. I mean, you could do an entire install on offense in the amount of time they've had. I'm just curious if it looks completely different or if they try to build on the success they had.
I think it's...
Yeah, I think a big thing... I say I got to slip out of here after this. So I was going to say, my big thing for that is this Andy Reid coaching staff has a ton of experience against this kind of defense, this defensive coaching tree. The DeMeco Ryans coming from San Francisco, the Chiefs have played this kind of coaching tree numerous times over the years in playoff games and Super Bowls. They have a lot ready for this, and I think that's why you did see the Chiefs comfortably be able to throw together an entirely different game plan for that game that had a ton of success. I'm sure the Texans will try to do something a little different than just playing a ton of man coverage on third downs and getting meshed and crossered and switch release to death. But the Chiefs, again, have a ton of experience with it. We have seen the second half of these Super Bowls against these styles of defense and how they go. So I think the Chiefs will have a lot for this particular defense to be ready to keep both these defensive ends who absolutely beat the heck out of, you're welcome, Seth, beat the heck out of the Chargers' good offensive tackles there on either side, who are a lot better than the Chiefs' offensive tackles. So there is some stuff to talk about as this game as it goes, but I just think that I think the Chiefs are very much ready for this type of defense. So we'll see what they do. You guys, thank you guys for coming on and joining Tuck. I always feel bad when I have to leave Tuck by himself on these breaking news team shows, but now with you guys here, I have left him in great hands.
Yes. Go eat a salad and run a mile. We're happy for you.
He's like, I got to go finish shoveling a driveway so I can, maybe have like a crouton.
Oh,
I got to earn it.
What a
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Ken, I'm curious to hear you had some thoughts on that. I'm excited for it. Tucker, I'm running the show now.
That's fine, yeah. I got a wheel to maintain.
Derail? Yeah. No, I do think I tweeted this out a little bit earlier, and I think you kind of just alluded to it too. The Texans have actually seen the Thuney Caliendo experience, and that is of interest to me, right? I think that Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson both played in that game, so I think that's at least of note. I think the Chiefs would try to get the ball out of their hands quickly against a really good pass rush anyway. But it wouldn't probably be the worst idea to get a longer, more experienced tackle, especially, since Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter are both really good at running up the arc. Getting a true left tackle out there. And also now maybe the Texans don't feel like they can just pinpoint Mike Caliendo. in that game either
Right.
because you got Joe Tooney out there. So, I don't know. I think the Chiefs will have answers. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, and look, if you take Nico Collins away, you're in good shape too. Like,
Right.
I mean, Nico Collins,
maybe defend some inbreakers. Maybe have someone hanging. I don't know. You could. Yep. You don't have to. You could just let him push off and get separation inside, snap after snap after snap. But I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. Like, hey, look, I think CJ Stroud threw an interception on an inbreaker. He tried to fit one into Nico Collins, and that was even before, Tank Dell was giving the Chiefs a ton of fits, and then when he left, they didn't have as many problems. I do think it's interesting. The Texans turned the ball over 3 times against the Chargers this week, and then they turned the ball over 2 times against the Chiefs in that matchup about a month ago. So, yeah, I think if figure out your offensive line, figure out how you're gonna do that, run the football a little bit, protect the football.
Yep.
See it at the Arrowhead Invitational.
I like it's back. It's back after a 1-year hiatus.
Feels so good.
It's back.
It's been months upon months upon months
since the Bengals have beat the Chiefs. Oh,
it's a joke that just gets funnier, and it's not going to stop.
They don't stop.
I know.
They don't stop. It's their fault.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that. That's kind of the thing. Like, it's the equivalent of just stay down, man. Okay, you got whooped, and it's over. Just quit running your mouth for 2 seconds. Go work out and go do some training, learn how to box a little and come back in a year. And then maybe, who knows what'll happen, right? Yeah, maybe. But for right now, stay down because the jokes are too easy, too funny. You got people tweeting out that's one reason it was on my brain today is, I saw someone, the Chargers and the Steelers are frauds. Should have been the Bengals. It's like, both of them beat you.
Yeah.
Don't make yourself don't be such an easy target. But I do think one thing I was curious about, and Kent or Tucker, I don't know if you guys remember this. Did Danico Autry play in the first Chiefs-Texans matchup? Because I do not remember him doing anything. And the reason that's relevant, I'm going to vamp here while Kent takes a look at that if I'm basing what he's doing the size. He did. Did you notice?
No.
And this is no offense to Autry, who I really like. I've always liked Autry's game. I think he's a terrific high-level guy in the pass rush. Like, he's not quite a dude, but he's a high-level guy. And I didn't notice him. And it's a testament to what the Chiefs' game plan was there. They just, Mahomes got smacked around against the Browns, especially in the second half. It was tough. And they were like, nope, this isn't happening. And that ball is coming out. And I'm so excited to see how they layer everything together after really looking at Hollywood Brown's film and some of the really near misses he and Mahomes have had. So it's such an interesting thing to have them play someone that they've not only played already, but played really recently while trying to figure out this whole left tackle situation. By the way, Kent, I'm with you on the Humphreys thing. I know everyone's got that one Nick Bonito pass rush in their mind where he gave him a dip around the corner that that beats 90% of tackles. Bonito can just fly around the edge, man. Like, oh, you're muted.
Oh yeah, you got.
I think the ball was supposed to be out too, right? Like, I think
yes.
If Wentz doesn't,
pump,
then the ball's gone anyway. Forget it.
Well, no, and there's a lot to that. There's also he wasn't racing to the top of the arc, which makes you wonder, did he think Pirine was going to go through there rather than the B gap? There was just a lot of weird stuff there. But the reality is what happens snap by snap is much more important than your best highlight or your best low light. And Humphreys he wasn't great. He wasn't even particularly good, but he was fine. And if you can be fine, getting his sea legs, and he was better than he was against the Chargers that first time they marched him out there on a snap-by-snap basis. So if you can be fine at left tackle and then become all-world at left guard again, that opens up a sea of possibilities that you otherwise wouldn't have in terms of certain alignments, certain play calls, that sort of stuff.
I almost feel like this is a similar conversation that we had going into the Tampa Bay Super Bowl, right? Of like, well, do you move this guy here and then this guy here? Obviously, this is to a greater extent, right? When you're
better
talking about
options this time.
there's some better options too. You were talking
Me
about
and Seth
moving.
aren't playing this time.
Right. Shout out Steve Wisniewski. I think that there were some conversations of like, what if you move, Creed to guard or like other places around there, like creating more problems than you really needed to, right? With the offensive line instead of just like slotting some guys in there. I do think the offensive line will be a very big conversation that we'll probably have the rest of the week, right? I know on this little live stream here, wanted to leave some meat on the bone for you guys to do, 4 shows between you guys.
On Only Weird Games, I'm actually using it all up now.
That's
on
actually
Tuesday,
a good point.
I'm just going to talk about my kids the whole time and my scorching hot wife. That's it. I'm just going to come in and be like, y'all seen Jazz? I'm going to just like have a picture. It's going to be great.
Shout out Richard. I got some shout outs to give as we are nearing the end of this here program and we are heading into the giveaway. Richard Fan, 10 more tickets from him. Thank you. We're at $200 away from our goal. That means I believe we're at 96 donors and we want to get 100 donors for this campaign. So givebutter.com/feeditforward. You can win 4 tickets and a parking pass to the Chiefs' first home playoff game. 1 ticket is $10, 3 tickets is $25, and 10 for $50. A pretty big discount there for 10 tickets. So go check that out. You can Venmo at KC Sports Network, or you can go to givebutter.com/feeditforward, where you can read a little bit more about the Feed It Forward program that we have there as well. 4 tickets and a parking pass. Like it's
no joke.
That's a good amount of tickets right there. And look, I don't need to give you my math spiel about if you spend $100, maybe even $200 on tickets here. That's a lot less than you're going to spend if you're going to get 4 tickets and a parking pass to go to the divisional game. Like that is, and plus KC Sports Network 501c3 tax deductible. And
that's sweet tax deduction.
I mean, come on, you can't
doesn't get better.
You can't tax deduct. We're $150 away. I keep getting live updates here. We're $150 away. We're gonna turn this into a live auction.
So close.
This is gonna turn into one of those. What the PBS does that, right? Like the call-a-thon. They did one on Parks and Rec, right? Where they do the.
I don't think it's an auction though. I think it's just like your name in the phone lines.
So it's a telethon. You got hold on, Tucker. We get it. You're young, but back in the day, that used to be a thing that every sitcom had to do a telethon of some version, and people just call in. We've got Kent Swanson manning the phones from Kansas City, and he would just pick up the phone, take the donation, hang it up. No one got anything out of it other than that sweet tax deduction and that warm fuzzy feeling that you're doing the right thing. And in this case, Chiefs tickets.
96% of all funding for public broadcasting is funded by users. So
that's
something
true.
Like that.
And that's like, look at what we do at the KCSN Foundation. You give us the money, we give it to Feed It Forward, in and out. That's how it works. That's how our foundation works. Is because
can I say something real quick about that? Because I will say we are a remarkably efficient foundation.
Yes.
So
$100 away. Thank you, Doug.
When you
that's
donate money
going straight to people.
Yeah, when you donate money to the KCSN Foundation, it is crazy how efficient that money is, and it's dang. I mean, I don't want to put a number because I don't know exactly what the number is, but it's just one of the most efficient, foundations you're ever gonna see.
Absolutely.
BJ does a tremendous job, and it's because of BJ. BJ and Christian do a tremendous amount of work without spending money, or taking money or anything like that. So yeah.
Yep. No, it's an amazing thing. Most charitable contribution type organizations, if you take a look, anywhere from 30 to 70% of donation money goes towards administrative costs. Whereas here, that's not remotely the case. You wouldn't say a number. I'm going to 110% of the money you donate goes straight to people. Is that a made up number? Maybe, but who cares? Because you can just choose to believe it because I said it. And you know what? If that leads. So half truth, half lie, who knows which one was which. But it's always a great thing to be able to give. That's one of my favorite things that KCSN does. I help out with it, not at all, but I really want to catch the glow Like, I would like to be the moon to the sun that is the KCSN Foundation. I would really like to.
We are
the lawyer part of
$25
you
away,
showing
by
up.
the way. $25 away, as Kent and Seth have so eloquently soliloquied and waxed poetically about the KCSN Foundation. We are now
Come on, $25
away. Eric Salazar, thank you for 10 more tickets. Zachariah Wertvine, he got 3 tickets. Thank you, Doug. I just gave you a shout out. Right? Richard Than, thank you for that. Eric bought 20 tickets. Shout out Eric. Matt Hughes, Will Yoder, thank you guys. Ryan Stockyard, Stan Austin, all since we have started this live stream. Those are all since we started the live stream. So appreciate you guys.
And we're $25 away.
I believe so. Let me double check.
All right.
Yes, $25 away.
Come on, guys, give me it. All right, let's just do it. I have not yet begun to debase myself here. What do you? Someone do it and then say in the live stream what you want me to do. I'll do it. I don't care. Whatever.
Wow.
I've got no pride. Now, but let's within reason. Nothing that could get me disbarred as I sit here in my county office. Let's not nothing that could get me to lose my job or anything like that. You want me? I will say 5 things I like about Josh Briscoe.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Let's pump the brakes here.
Okay. I will say 3 things I like about Josh Briscoe if we get that $15
away.
Oh, 15. Okay. God, someone just shout out to Yoder. Oh, $25 to leave the hoodie on. Well, so you knew where this was going. Look, do these socks have to stay on? They don't have to. You could just see some northern Minnesota feet. Kent, $25 and you don't have to see them.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna match Wyoder just to keep your pants on. And socks.
I did just get a flurry of messages. I believe we have reached the goal. Stephen Applegarth, 10 tickets. Thank you. $35 over our goal. VJ just sent a message that says, "Whatever you just did, that was good." Several things.
Gosh. All right. A picture. So Seamus Levin, the picture of Nate's calves would do it. That is true. If you've never met Nate Taylor in person, you can tell that man, his calves, they are like, they're like granite wrapped in silk. It is just, it's an incredible thing. All right. Well, hey, I made a promise. So 3 things about Josh Briscoe that I really like. He constantly has exceptional hair. I don't. And, I wish I had great hair. I don't. His sense of fashion, what he is able to wear and pull off, a man like me could only dream of. And every now and then it makes me sad. Those of you, I'll say he also is one of the quickest guys I know. He's always got something funny to say. So that's
Unless
3
it's
nice
in a
things.
text message. Sorry.
Unless that's so true. And those of you who have asked me to say that Josh is funnier than me, I will see you in hell. That will not ever happen.
Hey, Seth said hell.
Well, but I meant the literal one, like the lake of fire. Okay. Then it's fine. It's like talking about a donkey. But no, Chiefs fans, you guys always show up with things like this. I know in the past with things that have been related to like colleagues that I've had that have been going through things and that kind of stuff. I got a call, my former boss, Jonathan, who unfortunately passed away. His widow sent me a text message weeks ago from the GoFundMe they had some expenses, that kind of stuff. She said, "I've gotten these donations from some random people from Kansas City who just mentioned you." Chiefs Kingdom, you guys are always like that, and you always show up and you always get it done, unlike the Broncos and the Chargers. So well done, you guys. And thank you for letting me keep my shirt on because it was about to get way too real up here.
I'm still trying to get all these names for all this flurry of donations in here.
I suppose I'm making your life actively harder.
Fine, Seth. 1 sock.
Yeah, you guys. Seth keeps pining for. I'm like, hang on. I gotta put all these names in.
But then, what would he do with the thousands of donations that came in?
Yeah.
Make my life harder. To give you guys tickets.
Man, and so I'm trying to think. Chiefs, Texans. We've talked a lot. So Kent, I don't think you were on yet. One thing I mentioned, we obviously haven't seen Stroud. We've seen him a little bit against Spags. I just don't think he's necessarily built for the things Spags does well at this point in his career. He doesn't always. You see a few more, like when he gets really aggressive sim pressures or zone blitzes. I've seen him get just a few more free rushers than what I'm used to. Like with the Chiefs with Mahomes, which isn't a fair comparison because Mahomes is who he is. But the number of times you see a free rusher at Mahomes, like a dead free rusher, there's no plan for him. He's not rolling the other way. The ball's not coming out. It's happened like twice this year, and it's so rare that you're like, whoa, holy cow. With Stroud, I just don't think he sees it yet. And I mean, McDonald killed him with it last year in the playoffs. And I was curious what you think of that. I don't think Spags really hit him with the kitchen sink in the regular season matchup. I don't think it was even close.
So, couple things. I point to the last divisional round he played in, and they blitzed him, they heated him up, and he did not handle it well. And I mean, he really didn't handle this game against the Chargers particularly well either.
Right.
I think the problem structurally with the Houston offense is, okay, so if you can't get the run game going, and like I think the Chiefs will be able to stop the run against the Texans. Okay, if you're able to get them into those third and long situations, Nico Collins is awesome.
Yep.
But is Nico Collins a quick developing option for you against a blitz? No. So the ball is not getting in his hands as easily if you are having to get the ball out of your hands quickly. He's not going to be your hot. He's going to be your down the field, deep dig. He's going to be your post. He's going to be your outside the numbers throw. So, there's two lines of thought. Like the Texans might have to go for broke a little bit and just, throw some of that stuff up against pressure. And like their answer might just be, we're going to throw a lot of fades to Nico. And if not, it's going to be John Mechie, who fumbled the football and is not shown to be dynamic at all after the catch the way Tank Dell was. I just don't know how many answers personnel-wise the Texans are going to have if they do heat him up. And I don't think – Spags hasn't shown, anything yet, right?
Well,
Chris played in that game, right?
Chris played in that game, yep.
And that's the one he got hurt.
Yes.
At the end of it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I am borderline positive about that. Yes. Because it was just against the Steelers where the rest of the pass rush, but the coverage in particular really stood out to me against the Steelers where you really saw, man, before every snap, the safeties were rotating. Like seeing them back to that. I was like, because people were talking about, we're starting to see some playoff Andy. I was like, we're also starting to see some playoff Spags because Russ Wilson, not like one time, was what he saw when the ball was snapped, what he saw 3 seconds earlier. And it was really good seeing Josh Williams in particular, because they're going to need him, execute some of that stuff because this has been a long running thing we've talked about on Only Weird Games. Like Josh Williams is a guy you can trust on the boundary and man coverage. You just got to get him to stay put.
Yeah, then it gets a little dicey after that.
You just gotta get him to stay put. What I've also said is anytime you see a receiver running a drag and he gets the ball as he gets towards the other boundary and there is no one in sight, it's like, well, I think that's where Josh was probably supposed to be. Because he's 40 yards down the field. But the other X factor there, if Jalen Watson's somehow back, and I don't know, no one's telling us anything about it. If he can even play 25 snaps, it changes everything for that defense, and I just couldn't be more excited. Tucker, did we buy you enough time?
Yeah, you did. The wheel is ready. I appreciate that, Seth. Thank you.
The wheel of names.
The wheel of names, which is massive, and I don't know if my computer is going to be okay, but nevertheless, we are. I believe.
Text me who wins if it crashes. We'll figure it out.
We will figure it out. So thank you everybody who's watching live with us at the time as we figured out that the Chiefs are going to play the Houston Texans for the AFC Championship. BJ just give me another message with a lot of exclamation points in it. So you guys have done very good work as we are just helping the homeless in Kansas City. I've had the opportunity to go to Hope Faith and serve the homeless there as we have had plenty of meals donated. It is very, very incredible what they do at Hope Faith Kansas City and how they do. I'm getting an insane amount of text messages from BJ Kissel right now. He said, Tucker, we hit 5K. Announce it on the show. Announce it. I'm announcing it that we have hit 5,000. You guys are the best. I was just reading. BJ says if we can get to 5,200, chug a seltzer. But I'm done. The names are we've got almost 1,000 names here. We're throwing it on here. There it is.
Look at all those names.
Look, you can't even tell how many names there are in there, which is
like
incredible.
A wheel, like a wooden wheel.
Looks like a wooden wheel, but there are 923 entries, over 100 different donors for this here. We really do appreciate all you guys. We're gonna spin it here. I'm gonna click and spin, and we are going to have the winner. I love the sound effect of the 4 tickets plus a parking pass to the AFC Divisional Round game. I believe you also get 4 VIP tickets to the Tickets for Us tailgate.
Christian Gumminger?
Christian Gumminger. Let me do some messaging here as we go through here. He might be donating them back to the raffle.
Yeah, we're gonna have to stall longer. So the Texans. No, I will say the Philadelphia Eagles are up 7-0 right now, and Jordan Love looks awful so far. So Seth, our friend Jake's probably not too happy right now.
I'm spinning again.
We're spinning again. I figured we were, but
yeah, I thought so too.
See, yeah, I figured as much. So so shout out Christian though.
Yeah. Out of all those, out of 911 entries, what are the odds? Samuel Norman Roberts.
Hey!
Samuel Norman Roberts, thank you so much for your donations to the KCSN Foundation. We will be in touch with you if you made your donation through GiveButter. I believe we have your contact information there, and if you made it through Venmo, we will message you through Venmo as well. So appreciate all of your guys' donations there.
Yes.
Fellas, we've gone 56 minutes talking about this matchup here, as we do have between the two of you, as I mentioned, 4 other podcasts to talk about. Any final thoughts before we got to hear about the playoff slate?
You know, when I think about how this all began back in 2017 when Patrick Mahomes was drafted, and I think about the journey that's brought us all here. You know, in the beginning, God created the heavens. No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to get us to an hour.
I knew exactly this. You are filibustering.
He does this thing with a really big windup, and I'm like, all right, I know that like he's waiting for somebody to cut him off. So then I'm like, how long do I let him go? How long do I let him go before I cut him off? Because he's waiting for somebody to cut him off.
Yeah, and you know what? You had the power. The only thought I have is I'm just so excited I got to chat with Kent and Maddie a little bit and have you be here with me. Normally you're I don't want to say lurking in the backgrounds, but I will. And normally you're lurking in the backgrounds like a specter that hovers above us. And it was just so nice getting a chance to chat ball with you guys a little bit. And so I can't wait to talk ball this week and see just all the different things about this matchup as we get ready for the Arrowhead Invitational.
Very much enjoyed talking to both of you, and I guess Maddie. Also, Tucker, you did a tremendous job with all of this, both hosting it and also doing all of the production stuff behind the scenes, while getting the names together and all that stuff. So very, very good job by you, my friend.
Yes.
Let's go 3-peat. That's all I gotta say. End this before it gets to 60, though, Tucker.
We'll see. I'm really hot because I'm wearing a hoodie and a sports coat. So that's what happens on the Breaking News team.
You're hot.
Is it 40 degrees in your house?
Well, no, it's the Breaking News team, so I have to wear like the suit coat. But then I started to go the what's his name? He's on Thursday Night Football. Andrew Whitworth route. When I see him wear hoodies underneath his sports coat, I'm like, that's a good look. I could pull that off. But my sports coat actually isn't big enough really for me to wear a hoodie underneath it. So I got to go like the thrift store and get like a bigger one, maybe even a red one. I think a red velvet one would look nice. But anyway, that's going to do it for the KCSN Breaking News team. Seth tried to get me off on a tangent, so we hit an hour mark. We're not going to do it. He was that close, but I saw right through his ruse. Chiefs, Texans, we'll be back later this week. All kinds of shows for you at KC Sports Network. Stay locked into with us here. We will talk to you very, very soon.
Still think it's a